book Borderless by Jim Fast when Jim Kwik was 9 years old. He was struggling to know a straightforward concept that his teacher pointed to and said that the boy with a broken brain believed her years ago that he hit his head and suffered a brain injury, and as a result, he found it difficult to memorizing key facts and it took him 3 years to read over his peers. But today he can quickly remember the names of 50 or more people within the audience he just met and may recite a series of many random numbers well back and forth on stage. Quickly switch from not reading a book until age 16 to reading a book hebdomadally for the past 30 years. At the center of a rapid mental shift may be a simple indisputable fact that we all have the facility to shape our brains and continually improve our mental capabilities. If you struggle to be told that it's undue to an innate limitation within the brain, either thanks to a limited mindset, motivation, or method of learning, during this video I will be able to indicate you ways motivation and also the right mindset can improve the brain that a majority people assume is restricted. This is often the speed of reading. If you're like me, you've always wanted to read faster but hate no matter how difficult it had been to experience your speed of reading and comprehension to be a Q after reading unlimited and adopting the subsequent motivations and thinking styles doubled my reading speed. The limitless reading mindset industrialist once said, whether you're thinking that you'll be able to or cannot be right if you put in force that you simply can't read quickly is bound that it'll never improve your reading speed. Jim Kwik says that after you fight for your limitations, you retain the key to improving any capacity is to suspend any limiting beliefs and temporarily act as if your mental faculties are boundless by just entertaining, with the concept that your reading speed potential is unlimited. You'll significantly increase your reading speed. To prove this, try the subsequent 10-minute exercise called Method 4321. Set a timer for 4 minutes, open an easy-to-read book and begin reading at a snug pace while using your finger to underline the words while reading it. When the 4-minute counter expires, select the purpose you stopped at. Now return to where you started and set the 3-minute counter and try to succeed in the identical point you reached after 4 minutes. Don't fret if you didn't be your ideal understanding, just confirm to underline each word and watch it when the timer expires for 3 minutes. The identical for 2 pieces. Then after 1 minute of this exercise 4 3 2 1, resume reading the remainder of the book at a cushy speed for 4 minutes. If you compare the amount of lines now reading it by the quantity of lines you read within the first 4 minutes of the exercise, you may be pleasantly surprised at how briskly you read. Just pretending you'll be able to read faster during the 3 to 1 part of the exercise that you just have upgraded your reading speed. Now that you just have a mindset you'll read faster than you accustomed. Does one think you are? Should we specialize in motivation? What book will you get faster and learn more from? A book you were forced to read in 9th grade or a book recommended by your teacher, someone you admire deeply, and tell you that this book contains the life-changing secret? After hearing this statement, it's hard to not wonder what the key is. That if you picked up a book in an exceedingly heightened state of curiosity, wonder and excitement, you want to learn faster and save more. Jim says fast every learning case depends on an honest reason for you. You will not have learned much in class because you found school boring before you begin reading anything. Put yourself within the height of curiosity by asking questions. Next 3. What great insight will I buy from this book? How this insight will change my life forever, and when am I able to use this insight? That I prefer to assume every book I read encompasses a deep insight, and that I also prefer to imagine that somebody else has just paid $10 legion for information I'm on the brink of. Read with this mental framing. I'm so curious to soak up the knowledge I'm close to read. After I've generated an enormous drive to read a book by putting yourself in an exceedingly state of maximum curiosity, time for the joy to upgrade your reading techniques. Fast Man says, when was the last time you enrolled in a very class called reading? For many people, you came back in 4th or 5th grade, and if you're like the general public, your reading skill should be the identical time if you haven't actively changed your reading habits since then. In elementary school, there are 3 reading habits that limit your reading speed, and these 3 habits are the regression in sublime pronunciation, word by word, degree, and most of the time it is conducted subconsciously. To solve the problem of regression, you need to use a pacer. Attention follows the movement, so if you use your finger to guide your reading by underlining the text while reading it, you are preventing your attention from jumping around sending text messages to a lot of people with understanding low for reading because reading is too slow and boring for them. But if you move your finger at a pace only over the edge, it will require maximum reading speed. You will need your full attention to understand what you read. More attention means more retention. Use your finger as a marker when reading a physical book. Use your finger as a marker when reading on your phone by moving it down the side of the phone, and use the mouse as a reading marker when reading content on your computer. Bad reading habit number 2. Inner pronunciation is the habit of saying words to yourself in your head as you read. When you feel the need to pronounce each word when you read, your reading speed is limited by how fast you can speak it. You can make the internal narrator speak quickly and produce a voice from 200 to 250 words per minute, which is an average reading speed, but there is no need to hear the words in the language in your mind while reading it. You saw 99% of the words you read before, and you have mental images of most of them. If you can remember the image that represents you, a word expressing that word, you will become a more efficient reader. To break your subconscious vocalization habit and turn reading into a visual experience purely, thus improving your reading speed by quietly counting out loud while you read. It makes it difficult for your mind to pronounce words and speak numbers in time. So when you start reading counting 1 2 3 4, you will free your mind from the internal ventilation system and train your mind to see the words on the page as pictures and convert what you read into experience. A gift. Bad reading habit number 3. Reading word by word. When you learn how to read for the first time, you trained your eyes to look at one word at a time, but now you are familiar with most words, so there is no reason not to look at groups of words like 3 or 4 or 5 words at a glance. Instead of reading "The boy who walked home," you can see the 4 trophies at once. This technique actually works in tandem with the latter technique because it is easier for your mind to create pictures of groups than for words instead of a single word. I have started to train my brain to use peripheral vision and see parts of words simultaneously using a free program called Spreed that takes text in my web browser and splits it into chunks of words, displaying one at a time like this. In the end, I've set aside 20 minutes for the next 2 weeks to build your muscles for speed reading. Forget what you think are your limitations, and pretend for 20 minutes that your potential reading speed is unlimited. Then get a book for you I've wanted to read and take a minute to ask yourself questions about the block, like what great insight will I get from this book and how will this vision change my life? The goal is to put yourself at the height of curiosity so that you have the drive to learn what you read. Then use the next 10 minutes to warm up your speed reading muscles using the 4-3-2-1 method, and then focus on each of the following 3-minute methods. First, use the speed limiter to prevent regression while reading. Move the pace at a speed that requires full attention. Then count out aloud while reading to prevent yourself from pronouncing the subtext and relaxing finally your eyes and expand your peripheral vision to try to absorb more. Than when you start using these 3 methods in the speed of counting and expanding, you will feel some embarrassment, but if you continue to use them, you will start to see your speed and your reading comprehension improve greatly. And this was the basic message that I gathered from Unlimited by Jim. Fast, helpful in explaining and simplifying the learning process. How do you recommend this book? If you like this video, please share it. Thank you for watching.